We'll wait one more minute and see if anybody shows up. Riley, can you hear me? She's not saying anything. Riley.
Hello.
Oh, you can hear me.
Yeah, sorry. I was trying to set up my AirPods, but it wasn't quite working.
No worries. All right. Well, no. Yeah. Well, let's give this a try. I'm going to be talking more than I usually do tonight because I want to make sure that everybody's on the same page, at least those of you who are here. Always a good thing. Has everybody gotten into Canvas okay?
Yes.
Does anybody have problems?
Yes.
Well, that was exciting. Okay. First, you need to be good friends with the course outline. The course outline gives a week-to-week schedule for where I think you should be, if you can. I will regularly make announcements about stuff you need to know. You need to pay attention to these announcements. For example, any new assignment will be announced through Canvas. So if you can, you should check for announcements every day. I probably won't send you an announcement every day, but you never know when I will. So that's important. Okay. The content for the course, that is the content except for a few outside readings, will be on Canvas and the Waymaker modules. It's important for you to read the module called How to Succeed with Waymaker, so that you understand that this is not a traditional text. Waymaker, in my opinion, is a great deal. It costs $25, which you'll have to pay at student accounts. Strictly speaking, the content is free, but you pay for the intelligence that goes along with that. You have 2 weeks to decide if you want to use the quizzes and the feedback that the software will give you. If you opt out, you won't be billed, but that will also cut out a significant part of your learning opportunities. So if you think of the $25 as the price of the book, the whole book, you know, maybe you'll agree that it's a good deal. Okay. Is anybody taking macro at the same time?
I am.
Okay. So what's the cost for your text and courseware?
Almost $300.
So 25 sounds like a good deal?
Yes.
Okay, good. From time to time, I may ask you how the macro class is going, because we'll be doing some things in parallel, at least for the first week or two, and then we'll divert. Okay, the pace you take the course depends on you. You can go faster or slower than the course outline, as long as you get the modules and the module quizzes done by each of the 3 exams. In fact, the module quizzes for the modules covered on each exam will close on the day of the exam. There's not much point to doing the module quizzes after you've already had the exam. Okay. There is an exception to that. I will open them up again just before the final so that you can use them to study from. But for now, that's what you should do. Okay. So the course is flexible, but the class moves quickly, even given that we're going across the 2 summer sessions. It's still only 9.5 weeks. So you want to keep up as best you can. Okay, here's a question for you. What are the module analyses?
That's a great question. I think it's just telling you basically what we've learned or what we haven't learned, but I'm not exactly sure on how we submit that. Is that just like an email to you or what?
Email is fine. So to encourage you to keep up, the module quizzes, the module analyses are there. And they're really very simple. You work through the module and you just identify anything you don't understand. Okay? So it's easy. If you understand everything, you just say, I understand everything. But if you say that, then I may call on you in a Hangout to explain random things, right? Okay. So the module analyses are due the Wednesday after the modules are listed in the course outline. Okay. So what that means is this week's modules, you'll have to do the analyses for those by next Wednesday. So it'll gives you a little time to get caught up. Okay. Now, I decided that the module quizzes need to be due at noon on Wednesday. That is a change from what was in there before, but let me explain why I want to do that. Okay, in general, nothing in the course Canvas site, including the course outline, is absolutely set in stone. I will try to avoid changes as much as possible, but things happen. If anything changes other than a typo, like many of you have pointed out typos, I will let you know of the change in an announcement, okay? My point here is don't print stuff and then assume it's not going to change. But if it does change, I'll let you know. And generally, there aren't a lot of changes. Okay. Generally, I try to be as flexible with the rules if you run into any difficulties. You know, if you turn in a homework assignment a day late, that's generally not a problem because I don't grade them that fast. But if you know you're going to have a problem meeting a deadline, it's best to let me know in advance. Okay, so here's how it works. Next Wednesday afternoon, I will collate and sort your module analyses to identify the concepts that you had difficulty with in those modules. Okay, then I will plan on explaining that material in the weekly Hangouts. Okay, of course, this will only work if you tell me where you had the problems. And you can't tell me unless you work through the modules. Okay, so there's a whole series of events here. All right. You know, module analyses are a couple of points. They're not a big deal, but they do help and they do add up over time. So, you know, missing a module analysis is not a big deal, but missing all of them is going to count. Okay, so module analyses are due Wednesday afternoon, the week later. There are two exceptions to that. Okay, the Hangouts just before exams will be the night before the exam. Okay, and the module analyses will be noon that day before the exam. Okay, that way you'll have a chance to talk to me before you have to take the exam. Okay, and I'll remind you about all of these things. Second, some weeks I won't be able to meet on Wednesday at 12, or sorry, at 7. For example, next week I will be out of town, so I need to figure out when we'll meet, and I will let you know in an announcement. I'm actually going to be traveling on Wednesday, so it's hard to say. I'm not exactly sure where I'll be at 7, so I'll stay tuned, basically. Okay, when you do these module analyses, be as specific as you can. Telling me that you didn't understand anything in the module doesn't really give me any useful information about what you need explained. If that's the case, then we need to have a private conversation, you know, in a different venue than in the weekly Hangouts. Okay. As many of you know, I am on Twitter daily, and that's where I will announce new assignments. That's where I announce everything first. So if you want a heads up on things, go on Twitter and either follow me or search for the hashtag 10202 online, and you will find everything about the class. Okay. So let me try to summarize a little bit here. The majority of the content is going to be in the Waymaker module. The modules include text, videos, and a variety of learning activities. Each module ends with a module quiz. If you score at least 80% on the module quiz, I will conclude that you have mastered the material in that module. Okay, so getting 100 is not necessary. Just getting at least an 80% will tell me that you basically got it. Okay, now one thing, the modules take time to work through. Okay, so plan for that. You can't cram them. I guess you could cram them, but it's not going to be very effective. Okay, so don't wait until the night before. I know your teachers always say that, but it's even more true here because the modules are going to take time. You know, after we do a few of them, so like by next week, you'll have a much better idea about how long these things take. Okay, the course includes some other assignments, most of which are in the first couple weeks of class, like the 3 assignments for this week. These are all listed in the assignments page, but don't do any of them until I assign them with an announcement. And the reason why is because we may not do them all, depending on timing and time and stuff like that. Okay, again, follow the announcements. Here's a question that I got. Do you have to do the optional assignments? What do you get for doing them? What are the answers to those questions?
Well,
This is not a trick question.
optional means optional, and I guess it's just bonus points.
Optional means you don't have to do them, right? And the purpose of the optional assignments is to help you learn the material that you haven't learned in some other way. So what I would do is I would test out some of the optional assignments, and if they work for you, then keep doing them. And if they don't work for you, then don't worry about it.
Which optional assignments are you referring to?
They're all labeled optional assignment.
Easy enough.
In the module.
There are problem sets in each module that are labeled optional problem sets. Anything that's outside of the study plan or the module quiz, because you have to do the module quizzes. Okay. Next week, I'm going to assign you to a study group. So if there's anyone in the class that you want to work with, or if you have other preferences, please let me know. You know, one way that you can get to know people is to start watching people's introductory videos when they get them up there and decide that way. It's important that your study group is highly functioning. If it's not, let me know. We've had divorces in the past, but hopefully that won't happen to you. Also, twice during the semester, I will ask you to formally do a peer review of your group members. So your group participation will factor into your course contribution towards your final grade. Okay. All right, that's all I had to say today. So let me open it up to questions. Now, admittedly, you guys are the sharp people because you're here tonight. But even sharp people may have questions.
So with the module analyses, we just email them to
Yeah,
you?
that's easy. It can be as simple as a one-liner. You know,
Okay.
You don't need to go into a lot of detail. You can say, I don't understand opportunity cost. That's easy.
Okay.
I'm a little conflicted when you said that we can do the module quizzes anytime before the exam, and then
Right.
you said that we need to have them done by Wednesday at 12.
Then I misspoke. What I meant to say was the module analyses need to be done by Wednesday at 12 so that I can talk about the stuff that you've identified having problems with.
I understand.
You can wait on the module quizzes if that's what you want to do.
Okay.
Would you advise taking the module quiz before we do the module analysis, then emailing you with any problems we had on the quiz, and you can go over it in the Hangouts?
Maybe. I think I think you won't need the module quizzes to tell you if you're having a problem, but you know, you're welcome to do it that way. You can take the module quizzes 2 times, so you know, you can try that and see how it works. Okay. There is one other thing, and this is a positive, not a negative. If you, it is possible that your module quiz will crash before you finish it.
Doesn't sound good.
Okay, what's that?
That doesn't sound good.
Well, it is user error. So like if you use the back button on your browser,
Hmm.
Oh, okay.
okay, and you'll get a nasty message, and if you look at your grades, you know, you won't get 100%. You know, the ones that you completed to that point will count. But anyway, if this happens to you, just send me an email and I can reset it for you. Okay, so the quizzes are supposed to help you learn. It's not about testing you or catching you or anything like that. Other questions?
So I see how your syllabus is set up. You know, it said like, that's why I tweeted you as a, you know, I saw that chapters like 1 and 2. Are you doing it like, here's the things that you should be working this week, or do chapters 1 and 2 before Wednesday?
No. These are the things that I recommend you do that week, and
Okay.
then let me know what you don't get by the following Wednesday. Okay.
Gotcha.
You know, depending on what your time constraints are, like maybe you have to work, or maybe you have a family, or maybe you have to travel, or any of those things. You know, you may or may not be able to stay exactly on the schedule, but that's the schedule that will get you to the end, you know, on time, basically.
Okay, just making sure. I'm super type A, so when I was like, oh my gosh, if I have to do chapters 1 and 2 before 7 o'clock, I'm gonna.
Right, and
Great
maybe,
job.
maybe that explains what's behind you in the.
Yes, can you tell?
Mhm.
Hmm.
You know, there are some groups that would love to have you in their group.
If anybody wants a crazy person.
Other questions? Riley is drinking something that's probably water, I'm guessing. Riley, are you there? Riley. Other questions?
No, I'm good.
Good.
Hmm.
You're back, Riley. Maybe. That's it. Other questions?
Have you done a class like this online before? I'm assuming you have.
Yeah, I've been doing this since 2012.
Okay.
So it has gotten a lot better because teaching online, like learning online, is different from doing it in the classroom. So I try really hard to be flexible. I try really hard to arrange the course so that you guys don't feel isolated, so that you can reach out and talk to me whenever you need to. I spend far too much time on Twitter, and far too much time online in general.
Same.
You know, but my goal is to help you be successful. That's it. You know, my commission is based on the people that pass, not the people that fail. That was a joke. You can laugh.
Should have said make it real easy.
Yeah, I know.
Well, it's really well organized, so
Well, I hope it stays that way.
it's much better organized than my other online class. So
Oh, what are you taking online?
I'm
Besides-
taking, well, I haven't started accounting 102 just
Mhm.
yet, but but that will be organized because I've taken Professor Henderson before. He's
Oh,
really
yeah.
good. He's
Yeah.
really good.
Dave is a
But
good
my
guy.
management course is like, it's kind of all over the place. It's a little confusing.
Is that done?
No, Gower.
Oh, yeah, okay. She's a little bit like that, but
Yeah, she
it'll-
kind of just, I guess she just wants us to do our own thing. I understand. So
Yeah.
that's
Fun
fine.
fact about Dave Henderson. He's a graduate of Mary Washington.
Yes.
You know that? He was an econ major, and he took this
Yes.
class with me.
Oh, wow. Really?
Yes.
And he also loves The Simpsons, which I do too. So
Yeah. And he's not the only one over in the College of Business that was in my class. So,
Oh wow, that's really cool.
yep, that's what happens when you're old. But hey, old is just a number, right?
Yes.
I have a quick question for you.
Sure.
The all the extra reading, like for example, Harvard, or let's say the principles of microeconomics, is that testable? Is that going to be on the exam or midterm?
Yeah, it is. And we the Harvard article I like because it's more fun to read than the text.
Mm-hmm.
And the 6 principles of microeconomics are just kind of a good way to summarize what we're going to cover this week. I mean, just a quick list, so it's not a big deal. Wow, who's driving?
I'm not driving. My cat's meowing.
Oh no! I was. Looks like Ashley was driving there for a second.
Oh, okay.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
I did have a question.
Yeah.
I couldn't find on Canvas where the location for the final is. It just says in person.
Oh,
Yeah.
right.
Well,
That's a good question.
Well, that's the important thing. The location will be in the Econ House. Okay, and the way I do it is you pick a time during the day, and then I make sure I'm there. So it's not one time; it's any time that works for you, within reason. I'm not going to be there at 3 a.m. Sorry.
So is that
Also, it had a
1,000?
date on there that it was either, it said like sometimes it said Friday, sometimes it said Thursday, but the day I think was like July 25th. And I think
That's a Thursday. Usually my final exams are Fridays, and I just forgot to change that. But I think I fixed that now.
Okay.
Okay. So Riley, how come you're taking this class? Riley? She's gotten shy again. Well. Okay, other questions? I'm usually in the middle of cooking dinner during these Hangouts, so, I get antsy near the end. But fortunately, my son heard the buzzer ring, and he went and turned off what was cooking. So,
What are you cooking?
I am cooking a stir fry, Hunan chicken and baby bok choy with black bean sauce. Sorry.
Sounds very good. I
Yeah.
love black bean sauce.
Yeah.
I use it in, have you ever had jjajangmyeon? It's Korean.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep. So good stuff. Maybe we'll have a cooking extra credit or something. So Ashley, are you in a car?
Yes, I am. I just got off work, so
That's
I just
okay.
added on.
Whatever works.
Yes.
Whatever works. All right. Well, if there are no more questions, you know how to reach me, and we will talk again next week. And in the meantime, have a good one.
All right. Thank you.
Well,
Thank you.
one other minor housekeeping thing. So I'm recording these meetings. What I am going to do is upload it to YouTube, and then I will tell people where the recording is, so that if you can't make it, it'll be available.
Oh, awesome.
Okay. Sounds good. All right. I will see you next week, if not sooner.
Awesome. Thanks.
Yeah.
Have a good week.
Thanks.
Yep.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.